in game number 2.
Yes, here in game number 2 on Frost, we have in the top left, we have the purple Zerg. From Team Esports Club Visualize, he is Winter against his Terran opponent. In the top right, from Team Mouse Control, he is teetie.
So teetie 1-0 up in this best of 3 with one of those beautiful, never-ending pushes. Just getting him in a good spot, but it wasn't only that. There was the gold base behind it. He had a solid amount of production, good harassment early on.
Yeah,
really, we need to see Winter now do something special.
Perhaps. I personally never liked Roach Hydra as a composition versus Bio. I felt Bio just mostly had the upper hand throughout most of the game, except that Roach Hydra has this max timing where they can beat the Bio Force. So I think Ling Bailing Muda is definitely on the map like Frost, which is quite wide open, has a lot of airspace to go through, and it's really just a bit of a stronger composition. And I really anticipate, even though I called it in the previous game as well, I appreciate if Winter was going to go for that composition in this game.
I think the other thing which is worth noting is that Roach Hydra is a very effective composition against mech.
Oh yeah.
And there's a lot of reasons why, obviously not having game 1 in front of me, I can't say exactly what Winter saw, but having a good number of Hellions out, Banshees out, and a tank out, which we're all seen, can make you suspect that it's gonna be a mech composition, because as a general rule, Terran players going Bio prefer mines over tanks.
Especially the couple of tanks, like you mentioned, might have thrown him for a loop. Of course, opening Banshee is almost the classic transition into mech versus Zerg. So it's what I do when I play mech versus Zerg, so the only thing I can do is agree with it. But yeah, on a map like this, mech, a lot more uncommon. I really expect some standard play out of both players. We actually have gas before pool from Winter, so he might be going for either a very defensive speedling opener, or he wants to do some early aggression and try to punish some greediness from the Terran.
And this is actually quite a smart choice, pulling a lot of probes down, a lot of drones down, because a bunker is on its way out now for teetie. He's attempting to get just a bit more pressure on. We saw him do this in his first round game, but it gets shut out effectively. But it's a lot of lost mining time, and I'm pretty sure you lose more than 25 minerals pulling that many drones to defend it than obviously the 25 minerals for cancelling a bunker.
Yep, we actually have the Reaper halfway across the map, so if teetie were to, I was going to say, if he were to actually save that ECV, he could actually pour on a lot more pressure. The spawning pool is only just finished, so these links, they probably would not have been able to finish before this bunker had. And yeah, the Reaper would have come in a couple of guaranteed kills. But speaking of which, there's nothing here to defend these drones, and Winter looking to get at least one drone kill, if he's careful.
Does manage to do it, pulls the Reaper out. Keeping this Reaper alive is quite important. There is a second one on its way, so a factory should get started up fairly soon for teetie.
Should cancel that bunker by now. It's like 75 minerals back. It's a pretty good deal, And yeah, go for it.
I was going to say, what's really interesting is that the reactor came down before the factory now. This delays the Hellions, but it means you can squeeze out double Marines, which means the scouting Overlord can get picked off if the Zerg's not careful. So it is worth it if you see that Overlord about and you want to go hunting.
Yeah, it's a bit too late though, I feel. I think the Overlord will get away just fine. It could also be a bit more defensive play. Of course, the Hellions are better against Lings, but if you're facing a Speedling assault, then it'd be nice to have something in your bunker to actually defend and hold your wall off. But still, I guess it's kind of either way, whatever you prefer, I suppose.
The Overlord will actually die now.
Oh wow, he's putting it back in.
And losing this Overlord is really annoying. Generally, as a Zerg player, you're happy to sacrifice an Overlord at around the kind of 6:37 minute mark. But losing it now actually adds quite a big bump in this. So supply block Winter, and he doesn't have another Overlord in production yet.
So yeah, the starport is on their way. I feel the tech lab is a bit late, so Cloak and Banshee will actually be delayed a bit. Winter shouldn't take all that much damage from the Banshee, Hellion, everything harass. Oh, actually,
wow, this is a huge supply block.
Yeah, it is. Oh, and you should have seen that coming, sending it back in. I mean, there's a barracks there. You can anticipate at least a few Marines. But yeah, at this point, it's really teetie's decision whether he wants to go mech or transition into standard bio play. I don't think mech is a bad choice on this map. It's very doable. It's just not as common.
Win for Winter was, even though the Overlord died, he was able to see that the Starport was on its way, so he knows that Banshee are very likely now. And he put up a great defense against those Banshee in Game 1.
Yeah, and he's adding a tech lab to barracks, so it will be once again the bio transition. I do kind of wonder if he's going to keep building those tanks afterwards, because adding on those 2 tanks really threw off his opponent going into what I feel was a subpar unit composition.
Still trying to keep a close eye on any big giveaways to strategy. A lot of links are coming out now from Winter in anticipation of this push coming across. No roaches this game though.
There has been no aggression with the Reaper and the Hellions up until now. He finally drops the supply depot and goes for a move out. I feel he had plenty of units in order to force a bit more links rather than let Winter just make drones all he wanted.
Well,
big scan goes down.
Regardless, Winter got down a lot of links in anticipation of it.
Of course, but you want to force those earlier if possible. And yeah, actually a bit of a wraparound here with these links. He could actually attack from 2 sides if he wants to, or just go for the run by, but the wall up is actually already up for teetie, so nice job here by him.
And this is quite frustrating because it means there's less defensive forces. But they will be able to come in from behind, assuming these links survive the froth. They're getting a lot of damage down, the reinforced, or the attacking links coming from the back. Good put away there by teetie.
Well, he doesn't want to chase off creep all that much though. Catches quite a lot of units here, but the cost efficiency seems to be sort of going into the way of the Terran, killing off the rest of these links, and wow, just looking at the amount of resources lost, that tells the tale.
Chasing on creep, good. Chasing off creep, bad. The Hellions aren't going to get surrounded even by speedlings off creep, really, and you'll get some nice shots off there. So even though a lot of the Hellions died, it's forcing 20 more lings out, 10 lava, keeping the drone count lower than where it'd want to be. And of course behind this, the Terran players happily getting a 3rd base up, but also happily continuing producing SCVs.
Oh wow, he's actually still doing a lot of damage at the 3rd. He's forced so many links. Actually, both the Terran is actually ahead in workers right now, and he's getting a 3rd command center, so he's in a really good spot. Cute move by teetie, getting a single engineering bay and then double barracks. This still allows him for a lot of aggression, but not as much upgrades.
I really feel teetie is just in control of this series so far. Being a game up and being heavily aggressive now puts him in the driver's seat. And being in a controlling position in a game and also in the series is a big psychological boost. Winter knows that that defense was not ideal and that he took a lot of losses and he's been delayed in his economy. And that now is going to be pressing on his shoulders, because in the losers game, if he loses here, he's knocked out of the group. Not where you want to, not really what you want to have happen to you.
He's only just finishing up his Baneling list, which I feel is really late. Of course, the medevac push is usually a bit earlier than this, around when +1/+1 finishes. But still, he just finished his lair and he still needs to start Baneling speed, because, if you want to fight bio and you want to find it either off or on creep, you really want to have Baneling speed, and he finally starts it. And yeah, we actually have the first move out from teetie, which isn't all that big. Look,
it's not all that big. And Winter's actually spreading creep really well. He's got his creep spread a long way forward, and this Terran force is going to be very dubious about engaging onto creep. It's immobile, it's slow, and that leaves Winter in a position where he should be able to mount a good defense. There's a good number of Banelings. That means the Hellions would be at a risk and the Marines are at a risk. But those tanks, if they can siege up in a nice spot, are going to be able to shut them down.
And they do siege up, and now the Link's coming for the surround with the Banelings in the front. Nice target firing, takes out the first wing of Banelings, and wow, very cost efficient engagement here for the Terran. Takes out all of the Links and Banelings. Another wave is going to flood in, but the same goes for the Terran, who's continuously reinforcing.
Winter managing to stop one of the tanks, but not breaking this unit composition. And this is similar to game number 1. teetie able to just get that good position and start the never-ending push. The reinforcements rallied across. Mutalisks, though, on their way. But is there enough? There's only one in production. And with the tank down, it's not exactly going to trade up against the Marines. Yeah,
the cost efficiency is definitely in teetie's favor at this point. Not only just because of the fact that he can actually heal his units, he's just microing quite well and taking just so many cost efficient engagements. Takes out another queen here, and finally once again gets to the heart of his army, and the Mutas They're gonna have a lot of work cut out for them.
One goes down then, engaging on its own. And Winter having to pull drones. He needs to break this push.
Oh, he pulls them too early. Where are all the Zerglings? He had so many Zerglings in production. There they are. Not a very good timing here. Now the last of the drones from the third also pull in. Supplies for Winter is dropping, but he does manage to finally clean up this push, but significant losses, and the follow-up for teetie is already knocking on his door.
And teetie just able to push up against this relentlessly. He's got a solid 40 supply advantage now. Up by a huge number of workers, up in army supply. He's in a very nice spot.
This was his plan. He had two early barracks quite early on, added on 2 more, and a 5th, and even a 6th one. And he's now just continuously rallying his army, finding the mutas head on with marines. Actually, there's too many mutas, and it looks like they will clean this up.
And this is a bit of an oversight by teetie. He doesn't have any anti-air. These mutalisks are going to be able to chase down and pick off a lot of units. Too many marauders were produced, expecting to see roaches.
Yeah, I guess teetie was kind of expecting the roaches, and well, he expected wrong. Winter gaining a bit of a reputation for himself with preference for the roach hardware composition, but now there's a floor, which means that Winter is going to have to be a lot more careful with his muta control.
So the push has been stopped for now, and that was great by Winter. The mutalisks really helping him a lot. But he's got to get some nice stuff down. Things like this Ling run by must do damage, because as it stands, teetie, 72 SCVs up against 48 drones. Mutas coming straight in, engaging up against that missile turret. Good repairs though from teetie, keep it safe.
Great repairs, but now the Lings are actually going to come in and charge. The Hellbats, that would have been in such a good position. Fortunately for teetie, there are quite a few, there's 2 depots up on the ramp. But he's losing all of the SCVs in his natural. Counter push, however, he's just going to go for a base fade, and I'm not sure if Winter has what he needs to stop his army.
He needs these banelings to get some massive hits. The tanks are on siege. In come the banelings. They start detonating. A couple of nice hits, taking out a good number of the marines, allowing those mutas to magic box the Thor and now take out the remaining marines. The marauders obviously don't shoot up. They're going to go down, and this is a very back and forth game. Both players trading blows, and while the third was taken out, the natural base was stripped of all of its SCVs, and the worker counts are equal.
They are. The supply is actually in favor of Winter, but if you just look at the amount of workers, they're actually quite equal as well. Muto's actually looking to go in for the kill. He needs to put those marines in a bunker, otherwise they'll just get taken out. And I think if teetie just focuses more on his marine production, he'll be fine. But he now stands to lose his third orbital command, and that's not something he wants to happen.
It's not, and even though the third base was taken out, there's the macro hatch right next door. It's not ideal, but it's certainly better than long distance mining. Winter's income looking quite nice. He's now taken a 20 supply lead after being 40 supply down.
Wow.
And it's all because of that counterattack. It was done beautifully. The speedlings getting in, dealing a lot of damage. And now teetie, not in a comfortable spot anymore.
Oh, the Muta's doing so much work here in the natural, forcing another stim, forcing all these marines to pull back. We have another 4 about to pop, and this might be another timing here for teetie to push out. But I really feel he needs to work on his marine production. Fortunately for him, that's what he's been doing. But he is in a very precarious position right now.
These marines getting picked off as they reinforce in small numbers. They're not a threat to a large mutalist flock.
But look at the
SCVs being pulled
upgrades.
as well.
So much damage coming out of these marines with 2-2. And the mutas have 0-0 upgrades. So in a straight up fight, they just completely get shredded.
The important thing now is Winter needs to build up that critical mass of units to defend. I've said it a couple of times, but it's essential. He needs a large group just so he can crush the attack. And if he does that, I really like his chances in this game now. Yeah,
he's pulling SCVs though, so this is pretty much an all-in move here from the Terran. Lots of banelings now being added on from Winter, and we're gonna have to see a really good splitter from teetie. And here we go, banelings going, crash into the SCVs. Decent splitter from teetie, but still, this is enough.
The banelings, a few more morphing through.
Oh, really? He needs to get to that third base.
He needs to take it down, but more importantly, Winter needs to defend.
Oh, here come the banelings though. Can he split up creep? Oh, and the Thor falls as well, and teetie is actually all the way down to 50 supply, and the muta count is still quite high, and
I
this
think
is actually looking good for Winter.
I think Winter has got this game now. I don't see what teetie can realistically do, being only on the 1 mining base at the moment, being so far down in SCVs, and being about 20 army supplies short. I don't see how he's going to be able to assemble a force long term that's going to be able to hold this off.
He can make Marines. That's always a very good strategy, I feel.
Make Marines, win games. I hear that's how all Terrans play, but it will work for a while, but not if he keeps losing SCVs. He's down to only 12 now.
Yeah, that's he hasn't defended those in the most ideal way, and the income really tells the story. It's
okay,
1200. Yeah.
It's simpler than that. These mutalisks can see there's no tanks and no mines. Make Banelings.
Yeah.
Just mass make Banelings and basically a move, and there's nothing that teetie could do.
Except split like a god, but I feel that kind of unlikely.
There's only 28 Marines.
I'm
Winter
not sure.
can afford to make 28 Banelings.
That's true. I'm not sure why he's not actually parking his Marines in that mineral line, because the mutas keep darting back and forth and not being punished here. No, he does it again. He moves his army. So annoying. Oh, I'm not sure why he scanned actually. Okay, he sees there's a lot of Banelings, but wouldn't you want to drop a mule? And this could be game ending.
Missile turret goes down. A lot more SCVs in this third base found. The orbital command probably won't die before it gets to the safety of those missile turrets, although it may end up being very close. A few Lings pushing through, but in comes the Banelings. This is what I was talking about. And that wall-off needs to keep them safe. Down goes the orbital, and suddenly teetie is looking to be in a disastrous spot.
Yep. Not a whole lot I have to add to that, to be sure. This is a spot which is always quite dreadful as a Terran, where you're sitting in your base, kind of waiting for your opponent to finish you off. And realistically, I think that's the only thing that can possibly happen here. He's going to move out, and well, he knows he's just lost, and GG.